Hey folks, this is Ben Yussel. I'm, of course, back home now for a bit, of course. And this is again kind of video in the dark type thing. Obviously, um, I had some things I wanted to mention though in this video. Um, it's kind of maybe hard to put in words some things, but it shouldn't be too hard. There's a song that, for some reason, rarely seems to be annoying when someone's playing it for you or singing it for you in order to help you feel calmer or tease you, which is like the "Don't Worry Be Happy" song. Um, Jamaican guy, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, can't remember his name offhand. And it was one of my older roommates at BYU's favorite songs. It doesn't bother me, doesn't annoy me because of the way that the singer is when he's singing it. His whole demeanor, his whole attitude, all of his emotions. He's definitely not upset. He's not trying to be annoying. He's very much sympathetic, supportive, and that feeling comes through the song. So going a step or two or three further here, um, you know, um, how can I put this? I think I am one of those people that tries to avoid um, undue stress, I guess you could say. It seems inevitable that I'm going to be faced with difficulty in life. I guess that's the best way of putting it. And I do tend to stew about things, but more more to figure things out. It's that end, I guess you could say. And what I mean by when I say figure things out, I don't just mean in some logical sense, but I mean the deep internal conversations about, yeah, you know, it's, I think you know what I'm talking about, but it's, it's not always this verbal form of thinking. It's, uh, I don't know. Anyway, internal dialogues and stuff. Um, so I guess it's kind of, where I'm at right now, I guess you could say, in general, mood wise. Um, Everything is pretty awesome still. Pretty darn great. There's nothing really hard that I'm dealing with. There are things that are ongoing that are like my landlord being certain ways, but it's really not a big deal overall. My landlord's very old. We've never had a written contract. He's, pretty reasonable, but he's just has these annoying quirks, and but very it's tolerable because of other things about him. So, but I've you know been here for a while, quite a while now, and I guess you could say it's probably the negative side of that is because are really actually pretty great right now. There are very, very low stress. So because of my landlord's quirks, it's probably one of the top 5 things I deal with that's a little less fun, which should tell you how easy I have it right now. So I'm not fully expecting things to get worse in some respects, which I'm not looking forward to. But I don't know. I mean, like, but again, I'm just reminded of that song, and it's like, if something is completely outside of your control, then why fret about it, right? It's easy to fret about things when the more difficult it is to try to endure. I guess, we're not talking about someone close to you dying. And that's we're not talking. Maybe there's some things that are so difficult that perhaps that song doesn't quite apply. maybe you need, maybe it's something of a different kind of deal. I'm not talking about something huge. I guess I'm talking about more everyday things, or bigger, but still somewhat everyday kinds of issues. But speaking of that song, by the way, you know, just looking through YouTube stuff, you know, and yeah, I know I'm just kind of talking now, but believe me, I'm going somewhere here with this, folks. um, you know, um, there are a lot of people apparently that are homeless. Growing numbers of people that are homeless. You guys know why? I wonder if we'll get to a point where we just have in the tens of millions of people that are homeless, and we just, hey, you know what? Let's just build some cities where everyone can just live for free, and hopefully we have enough food. Everybody just kind of, yeah. Maybe it's like, I think this is like some kind of John Lennon thing, right? Some kind of hippie camp or something. Well, I don't know exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm just thinking that, we already have this in some form or another in cities. You have, aside from homeless shelters, you have people in tent cities, in actual cities, or off the grid. You have people that are living, I don't know. There's all kinds of variants of this, but we're talking about not paying rent, not owning land, having some shelter, having some food, having the basics. And just being like, yeah, it definitely kind of sucks, but it's like I'm surviving and I have enough to eat, more or less, and you know, oh well, kind of thing, right? And I keep asking myself, when someone is homeless or addicted, right? How would they respond to that kind of song? I'm trying to remember the guy's, because again, it's a Jamaican guy. I know this guy's. If I heard his name, I'd be like, oh yeah, of course. But how would they respond to that kind of song? And it's like, um, it, it helps one to stay humble and keep perspective on things, I guess you could say. To keep in mind how people are homeless through no fault of their own. And believe me, we're talking about that, drugs are also can take control of someone's life in such a way that I personally feel that even though, you know, people shouldn't do drugs, um, well, it's complicated. It's all the psychological stuff, all the psychological damages does to somebody, and it, that takes over their life. It's like, well, it's just, I don't know. Anyway, but there are a lot of people that are homeless that haven't been on drugs. Um, how would they respond to that kind of song? Um, they'd probably like it actually, because again, this song is just like, well, you can't do anything about your situation at the moment. Just all you can do is to live life, try to help other people be happy. And I ask myself sometimes, if I lost everything, my parents helped me out so much, but if I lost all my stuff, you still have other things. You still have friends. You still have your life. You still have your skills. There's many other things I have that aren't so much of a monetary thing or possessions type of thing. That I'd still be wealthy, so to speak. Um, and it really is helpful to think along these lines when in a bad mood for whatever reason. I don't know. I could tell you why my landlord bothers me sometimes, but sometimes when you talk about something that bothers you, it doesn't always help you feel better. But I'll mention this just because why not? Well, eh, there's really two things, maybe two or three things, but it's it's like some people just get to a point in life, age-wise, where they just won't change. It's impossible for them to change their behavior. I think my landlord's at this point. I He just is incapable. He's incapable of changing anything that he does. And yeah, so that it is what it is. But the reason I mention that is because I can't, he's just not going to change one particular thing he does. So when whatever it is, no matter what it is, annoying or more pleasant, the man is always writing notes. He's always putting notes in places, and his handwriting is not very legible. It's increasingly less legible. So I mean, really, it's more of a eccentricity, folks. It's not really so much of a bothersome thing, but I mean, just this has been going on. I mean, I've been here for like 3 years. It's like, imagine living in a place that's note free. Ah, the freedom, right? It just never ends. And it's like, Blaine, well, my landlord. He could leave. He could leave me a phone message. Just that's get on your phone, leave me a message. Um, you could talk to me in person. It's just all these little papers everywhere. It just. Uh, I've rarely known people in my life that have done this. Rarely. I'm hard pressed to think of it. Hardly if there's anybody that's ever done this. And folks, again, it's never been. So I don't know. But that's about as annoying as things that I have to deal with my landlord. So again, I have it really easy, really easy. He shares food and all kinds of stuff. He's very generous. Anyway, maybe a few thoughts here before that's well, we have time. It is late at night, but yeah, my odds again. Like this always happens. This always happens this time of year. Again, this funny sleeping schedules doesn't help that I don't have a really full schedule every day, and it doesn't help that it's winter. And I know it makes people moody. It makes people depressed. All this darkness. I feel like there's all this, you know. I feel very assertive in a way. I feel like there's so many things I've experienced in life that just really just like bring it. What have I not experienced? I mean, I could have a conversation with the devil himself. I'm not saying that I really enjoy that, but I'd be like, you know, yeah, or an alien or something. I don't know, something that would be like freak me the devil out. Be like, heck, it's exciting, something more eventful. But I mean, like, I don't get depressed. I guess during so much of my life, so many people have been so discouraging to be around, like letting me down, or just people I'd rather not associate with. It sounds smug and arrogant to say it that way, but there's a lot of people that are just no, just no, right? I think you guys are probably similar on some level, but there are actually a fair number of people that maybe I was a little bit. We could have been better friends. I know this, but yeah, I guess it's just to me, it's like, um, there's a lot of things that bring me joy, but it's kind of like it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to be depressed. It's hard for me to feel depressed when there's so few things that I have to deal with that are stressing me out. So the stress and the hard things, the really hard things in life can pull me down. I think I've known that about me. But this dark weather, dark cold weather, COVID-19, uh, having to spend a lot of time by myself, that doesn't really have as big of an effect on me to make me feel down. And that's just the way I am, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I know a lot of there's a whole introvert extrovert. Um, See, now you guys are getting your just desserts, you extroverts that think you're so cool. And we introverts have the upper hand now because we are the strong ones. And we're staying safe from COVID-19. I realize there's that whole train of thought. And, maybe I haven't really fully thought about it that way. And it's like, okay, my fellow introverts out there. Yeah, I get it. At some level, on some level, at some point, we should all stop being so comparative, though, and competitive. And, you know, I really think that if there's a lot of things I'll keep uh, being more deeply impressed on my conscience, I guess you could say. And one of them is that one of the big ones is that biggest one of the biggest ones is that you know whatever differences we feel we have with other people, they're pretty minute. They're pretty minute. Um, there was a gentleman that I watched his channel a fair bit. Um, it doesn't matter if he's anonymous, but I'll just, for the heck of it, keep him anonymous. He was talking about how sometimes if you're a black person, there's if you wear he's talking about masks and stuff, and sometimes now you have animals that are on masks, and if you wear a mask that's like has a primate, like an ape, chimpanzee or something, and you're black, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Oh, well, oh, yeah. And he was talking about, no, I just like to wear masks that have animals on them. That. There's nothing to it, right? And we all know that this is a very tired stereotype of a very tired idea of the, you know, African savage. Mm, you know, looks more, he's more closely related to the Homo, some pre-human, primate from Africa. You know, yes, and Madison Grant and all those different ideas about human evolution. Very familiar subject to me, and um, I mean, I heard him. I mean, I heard him loud and clear. It's very tired when black folks would say, "Oh, that's that's," or whoever. These are it's very frustrating. I'll put it that way. I'll put it this way. It can be very frustrating to have to deal with these ideas that just never seem to go away, that are very vexsome to people. It's like you want to be rid of these ideas completely. Like you want people to be rid of these ideas because they're stupid, they're dumb. We all know that humans are not apes. We're not apes. If you want to believe that we're whatever in the same family of whatever, because we're whatever, that's fine. I but humans understand the difference between good and evil. Humans are infinitely more intelligent than primates, apes. I think it's just fine if someone wants to group us with the primates because we are very similar, right? We walk on 2 feet. We have the taste for fruits. We use our fingers to grasp things, and, but I just, I was getting annoyed by all the notes that my landlord leaves. Think how often black folks have to deal with these ideas that just keep coming back over and over and over again. I mean, and if you told them, don't worry, be happy, After this video, sorry folks, just some food for thought tonight. All right, I'll catch you later. Take care.